Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi on sign language Elizabeth Nakakoni. Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja has met the Turkish ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Mehmet Fatih, at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala. Nabbanja and her guests discussed a range of issues aimed at fostering bilateral relations between Uganda and Turkey, especially trade and investment.
Relations between Turkey and Uganda are developing steadily as a result of high-level visits and the willingness to work together. Today, the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robina Nabbanja, met with the Turkish ambassador to further consolidate this cooperation.
Uganda and Turkey have been in cooperation for quite some long time, about 20 years. 2011. And so that cooperation has bridged the gap between the two sister countries.
The bilateral relationship between Uganda and Turkey was fully activated in 2010, followed by the opening of diplomatic missions in Kampala and Ankara in 2011.
One of your companies worked on Kaisotonia in Hoima. That is way back in 2017, 2020, 2021. I also want to thank you for the standard gauge, because the cooperation is on, and we are going to have the standard gauge fixed in a short time.
She acknowledged the involvement of the government of Turkey and its private sector in Uganda's development process.
I want you to interest your investors to come and invest in hotels, and also construction, in agriculture. I know we're already in partnership with our business people. The trade between Uganda and Turkey is booming.
Turkey's ambassador to Uganda, Mehmet Fatih, said Ankara attaches a lot of importance to enhancing strong ties with Uganda.
We are more than happy to contribute to the infrastructure of Uganda. As a landlocked country, I personally believe that improving the infrastructure in Uganda, in the East African region, will help develop the Ugandan economy, will create more jobs to the Ugandans, and help Uganda to have a better welfare in the coming years.
He said Turkey stands in solidarity with Uganda to fight resolutely against all forms of terrorism.
I'm more than happy to be serving my country here in Uganda, in this beautiful country, the Pearl of Africa. As I told you, 1 year ago I was here and I was fascinated at that time with the green, with the people, with the weather. Very nice, delicious fruits, vegetables, and I think there is great room for the development of our cooperation in agriculture.
The two countries have signed a number of bilateral agreements in business, education, agro-processing, and value addition, among others. In another development, the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robina Nabbanja, met the top leadership of the ambassadors of Uganda to discuss pertinent issues aimed at consolidating the association.
Putting together the young people for a common cause is the way to go. Like we have said, most of our young children have not got a chance to go to school, and so they lack capacity to think for themselves. So in an association, to Kopaganako is the way we learn from each other. The association having 80,000 Ugandans is big enough to be recognized by government. We usually support people who are together, because I know when you are together, you learn from each other. That's one. And two, there is a way you relate and help us to mentor one another. And through that, the number of people who have grown up using associations. So the government of Uganda has always requested people to make and form associations.
Then we have an educational and scholarship program already to 760 in the entire country. To avoid in their districts because we want them to own up their place and communities. Then we shall help them from where they are. And in this, we give special attention to special interest groups, the PW, people with disabilities, orphans and the destitutes.
Muslim Ambassadors Uganda is a Uganda-based NGO established in 2017 to empower and transform marginalized people. It was started by the Muslim youth and has spread through the 4 regions of Uganda. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
Also, the Prime Minister has launched the national rollout of the $217 million grant from World Bank to generate growth opportunities and productivity for women entrepreneurs. Speaking at the function, the Prime Minister stressed the government's stand to monitor the progress of the project and ensure its sustainability.
The Generating Growth Opportunities and Productivity for Women Entrepreneurs GROW project is one of the interventions government has come up with to support women entrepreneurs to transition from micro to small and from small to medium enterprises.
Beginning this week, and we couldn't roll it to your district without first letting you know. So it's to tell you we are about to reach your district. Number 2, each of the ministers in the Ministry of Gender will be reaching out to you to work with you depending on the districts that they are going to handle. And
the project entails 3 components that seek to support women entrepreneurs and bridge the financial gap.
5,000 micro and 4,000 small women enterprises to transition from small. If you are now doing tomatoes, can you now go to scale it up from tomatoes maybe to tomato sauce, or maybe to even come aggregate yourselves as tomato sellers? We support you, UNBS certified, Ministry of Agriculture and Export Promotion support you, then you start exporting in Dubai.
An estimated 1.6 million women across 146 districts will benefit from this project.
Those who are undertaking business, please have your trading license. That is one of the criteria of receiving. And your business must have a sound business proposal of expanding it from either micro, small or medium to the state in which you want to.
Nabanja cautioned the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to ensure this project reaches the targeted beneficiaries.
Requires hard work. I urge you to remain committed and work tirelessly to ensure that this project goes on as planned. We need results from this project. The government will not tolerate poor performance and unnecessary delays during the implementation of this project. I'm telling you.
The GROW project aims at increasing access to entrepreneur services that enable female entrepreneurs to grow their enterprises in targeted locations, including host and refugee communities. Mary Namkose, Miriam Wamjesha, UBC News.
The eastern provinces of North Kivu and Ituri have been under a state of siege by the Allied Democratic Force rebels and other despotic rebel groups carrying out atrocities on innocent civilians. Since the joint military operation was launched in 2021, a number of achievements have been realized despite some pockets of wrong elements carrying out atrocities. That's both in eastern Congo and Uganda.
At the beginning of Operation Shujaa, the main focus was to destroy the identified ADF camps of Kambia-Yua, Tondoli, Medina, and set up forward bases at Mkakati up to Semriki. Under Phase 1, commanded by Major General Kanja Muhanga, by then, he succeeded in airstrikes and bombardments on the ADF stronghold camps. Advancement and deployment of troops poured in areas of Bolasi, Kainama to cut off the main supply route of the ADF. Later, the two countries agreed to implement certain strategic infrastructure projects, including the construction and upgrading of a total of 1,182 kilometers of the main road network connecting the two countries.
Because of the bad infrastructure within Kasindi to Butembo, you get that crossing River Semleki becomes a huge challenge. And this is only 60 kilometers between Butembo and Kasindi.
DOT services degraded and improved the road network from Kasindi, Butembo, Beni, and eased Operation Shujaa mandate. The joint force deployed more forces from Kasindi up to Beni. Deep at the front line, visibly temporary forward base for the joint forces settled in the middle of the jungles, always energized by singing military songs. The challenge remains that ADF deserters and collaborators disguise as civilians to avoid being arrested. At night, they regroup, attack civilians, and disappear within the communities. This has caused mayhem to the Joint Force Intelligence to identify the culprit. The remaining ADF groups under one Abu Akasi have grouped themselves between 15 to 20, always on the run, looking for food and medicine for their survival. Kasese Haruna, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Uganda Police and the UPDF are actively engaging with residents of Kasese sub-counties to identify security gaps in their pursuit to bolster peace and security. These meetings aim to address concerns raised by the locals and foster collaboration between the community and security forces. Now, this is part of the strengthening surveillance in the area after recent attacks on Mpondo Lubiriha Secondary School. Ivan Kawa has more.
Uganda Police and UPDF have initiated meetings with residents in the sub-counties of Kasese to identify security gaps. Right now we're heading to some of the key strategic areas where the security forces and the police of Uganda have actually deployed to make sure that communities in the area of Kasese are safe. Initially, the interaction between police directors and residents took place at Kayanja Fishing Village in Nyakiyumbu sub-county. During these meetings, the locals took the opportunity to express their concerns about the inadequate road network and telecom infrastructure, which hampers the sharing of intelligence regarding potential threats.
Mimi nafurahi sana kwa nyinyi wakubwa kufika hapa kuja tulikuwa nalala nje, lakini leo hii tumefurahi kwa vile mnakuja tuliza roho. Hata tunalia kilio ya watoto wetu wenye wamechinja watoto ya shule. Asante sana mkubwa. Asante.
Alafu ubelelezi kuonekana kutambua yeye kumpata vizuri ukishaona ID. Ukishaona ID si kufanyiziana na Kayanja. Unajua huyu mtambua ni mtu mbaya.
Ngandibu ende mukulu wasinje yetu he namba yesimu. Chokatwa mengererwa Ekayanze eneti wakani 0. Mutu wetike babida be mutiane na ya Airtel. Basi abatukola lyo morongotse tubitunye kwa network.
Even in my own village there I must look for a position in order to communicate. Even here it is there, but you can't be making sure that everywhere is network. So you look for spots where you can pick a network. That's why we have been doing it.
The residents of Kayanje are worried about the security situation in the area. They propose to be armed to counter any form of invasion. This is one of the areas where one person is suspected to be missing and is believed to be a victim of the Mpondo Lubiriha attack.
It is risky for somebody to move with the security personnel while they are armed, while you have a stick.
There should be a formal arrangement if that is to be considered. People should be identified, recruited and trained. You don't just arm people anyhow like that.
In response to the community's concerns, security forces have strategically increased their presence in the 6 sub-counties that border the Democratic Republic of Congo. Wilson Omoding, the Deputy Director of Operations, emphasized the importance of collaboration between the locals and security agencies and strongly advised residents to work closely with the law enforcers.
Security is going to be on the ground. They shouldn't be scared. And we are going to make sure that we are all going to work together, UPDF, police together.
The overall objective of the police and UPDF meetings with Kasese residents is to address security gaps. Through enhanced deployment and community cooperation, the authorities aim at strengthening peace, security and stability. Sharon Chomjisha, Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Meanwhile, the former Defense Minister, Dr. Crispus Kionga, an ardent and advocate of peace in the Rwenzori region, in an exclusive interview with UBC's Philip Agota, reveals why the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has remained a safe haven for the ADF rebels. Digesting the atrocious and regrettable attacks the rebel outfit has committed in the region, starting with St. John's Seminary Kiburara attack and abductions in 1997 in Kasese, the Kichwamba Polytechnic massacre of 80 students in 1998 in Fort Porto, and the latest Rubiriha school massacre of 43 students and abduction on the 16th of June this year, again in Kasese district. However, the former defense minister draws lessons that the security actors deployed in the region to neutralize the rebel outfits networks should learn from the 3 atrocious incidents in the region. Let's have a look.
The circumstances, the incident that has happened in Kasese of the school attack is regrettable.
That massacre where we lost 37 school children and their managers and an old woman over 100 years and also her children is highly regrettable. And again, I take this opportunity to repeat my commiseration, my condolences to the families that were immediately affected, but also to the rest of the Ugandans.
Doctor, this is the 3rd time such an attack is taking place in let me say, Rwenzori sub-region. You remember the St. John's Seminary incident, and you remember the one of, Kichwamba of Fort Porto, and now we have the one of Mpondwe. Are there lessons to be learned, especially from the security forces?
The lesson we need to learn is that ADF, which started in Uganda, building on Unaru in 1989, has since grown in 2 ways. Number 1, has perfected the art of radicalization. They take young children from Bugiri, from Mayuge, from Kasese, from Chazanga, and they go into their minds and change them. Then ADF is now part of the Al-Qaeda network. This is what our population needs to know. The ADF is a radicalized international terrorist force. They are linked right from West Africa with Boko Haram. You come, I think even Kony now is part of that formation. You come to ADF. ADF is now even in Mozambique. And you go up to the Gulf, Al-Shabaab. It's the same group.
But we have neighbors here like Kenya and Rwanda, and we don't see much of ADF activities in Tanzania and so on. But why are they mainly disturbing Uganda?
Yes, you are right to say we appear to be taking the big blunt ourselves here in Uganda. That reason is first geographical. Uganda neighbors Eastern DRC. Eastern DRC, because it's not a governed space and is forested it provides the right place for terrorists like this to form, to train, and do these activities, and then go back.
Are there some security lapses, maybe when it comes to deployment in along the borderline? Because there are also people saying Uganda People's Defense Forces are there fighting ADF, and yet ADF is attacking people back home.
If you think you will only fight them here, you will not be effective. You see, Al-Shabaab is in Somalia. If you don't want Al-Shabaab to come here, go and fight them in Somalia. Yes, if you say no, we'll wait at the border, then they will grow and become so many, so effective. Then when they come, yes, you fight them, but they will hit you. So wherever the problem is, we should know the ideology of such people, the program of those people, and deal with it in collaboration with other people. That's why what is happening now in Eastern Congo is very good progress. Yes, there is security. Security cannot be everywhere. Even if we get more soldiers, they cannot be everywhere. They cannot be at everybody's house, in everybody's village. That's not possible. So we, the ordinary people, should be a multiplier force. Yes, we have our soldiers, we have our policemen, they are doing good job. We multiply their effort.
And Christians have been urged to live a humble and godly life, no matter the offices they hold. This was Reverend Father Dan Oleman's core message to the mourners at the Requiem Mass of Lady Justice Stella Amoko at Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church, Mbuya.
Christians have gathered in big numbers at Our Lady of Africa Catholic Church in Mbuya, Kampala for the Requiem Mass of the Lady Justice Stella Amoko.
Also our chief representative on the side of the judiciary, the Deputy Chief Justice, Honorable Richard Butea.
The Requiem Mass was led by Reverend Father Daniel Oriem, who urged the Christians to always live a humble life as they struggle for their eternal life.
You see, good works is the only way to transport your resources or anything you do on earth here to heaven. It is our actions from this life, what we can take across our activities. What are you taking? What kind of activity? What kind of record are we taking across? We can never take across money. So when we misfire in life and become greedy about money, we are really thinking the wrong way, because this one remains here.
Reverend Father Oliemo, however, thanked the late Justice Stella Amoko for living a godly life and serving God as Savior.
Now for us, if we are caught off guard, acting life belongs to us. Like there is nothing that we can learn from it. Like, we are not accountable to anybody. That is reckless living. We congratulate her even at death, that what you did really reflected what true justice should be like. We thank you for bringing justice.
Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs Norbert Mao, on the behalf of the government, sent condolences to the family and relatives of the deceased. Mao applauded Justice Stella Amoko for being a determined person in doing her job as a judicial officer.
Justice Stella Amoko played her first half very well. That's what they call redeeming the time. And therefore, the second half was not as hard as it could have been. This is another homework for you young people. Take it back. Play well. In fact, it could be one of the reasons for corruption. Because if in the first half you have not played well and you are in a panic in the second half, then you are struggling to build a house, you are struggling to do this. Generally, you become uncontrollable. She was not afraid to make courageous decisions. She dismissed cases where suspects came after being tortured.
The Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera, on the behalf of the judiciary, in the message from the Chief Justice Alphonse Awunyidolo, applauded the hard work exhibited by the late, working as a judicial officer.
Lady Justice Stella was a most dependable person, an administrator of the Supreme Court who promoted harmony and collegiality. She exuded and exhibited admirable judicial temperament. Her death is a big blow to the judiciary family.
The children of the deceased, led by Patricia Amoko, praised their mother for the love towards them and expressed appreciation for the support of their mother by the judiciary during her illness.
Thank you for showing us the things that truly matter in life. Thank you for loving not only deeply but widely. And my prayer for us all here is that in time, God will help us move from grief to gratitude for a life well lived.
Ambassador James Yudule Amoko, husband to the late, explained his wife as a loving and a caring person.
Extremely committed to work and duty. Conscientious and very judicious. A lady of unquestionable integrity. May I thank His Excellency, the President of Uganda, for having honored my wife and conferred the honor of burial.
Justice Stella Amoko, who died on 17th June 2023 at Nakasero Hospital, will be buried at Wuna Central Village, Wuna Parish in Ajumani District on Friday this week. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
And Parliament has paid tribute to the Supreme Court Judge Justice Stella Amoko, who passed away on Saturday last week at Nakasero Hospital. Now, the motion to pay tribute to the justice was moved by the Prime Minister, also leader of government business in the House, Robina Nabanja. Susan Nawonga has more.
At 1:30 p.m., the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, received the body of the late Justice Stella Amoko at the main parking lot of Parliament. The body of the deceased was then ushered to the parliamentary lobby, where members paid their respect before it was conveyed to the gallery for a tribute debate. In her communication, Speaker of Parliament Right Honourable Anita Mong told the House that Lady Justice Stella during her tenure in the judiciary was an outgoing, welcoming and very dependable person.
At times you not believe that maybe she's a judge, because most judges keep off to themselves, but Stella was always there for everybody.
Condoling with the judiciary, the Speaker described Justice Arach as a down-to-earth, generous and irreplaceable icon of the judiciary.
At a time when judiciary is undergoing a tremendous improvement, it is so disheartening that we can lose such a person. Within 1 year, we have lost 2 judges in Supreme Court of a dedicated and a professional, selfless public servant.
Section 23, Schedule 3 of the Administration of the Judiciary Act 2020 requires Parliament to pay tribute to any fallen judge of the Supreme Court. The motion of resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to Lady Justice Stella Arach was moved by the Prime Minister, also the leader of government business.
Under Rule 56 of our Rules of Procedure, to move a motion for resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honourable Lady Justice Stella Amoko.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, in her motion, noted that Lady Justice Stella Amoko was a very distinct person with much commitment to the judicial independence, with highly distinguished services.
Honourable Lady Justice Stella Amoko was an extraordinary jurist and an icon of justice who was instrumental in mainstreaming alternative dispute resolution mechanisms in the judiciary.
The motion was seconded by the chief opposition whip in Parliament, John Baptist Nambeshe. Justice Arach is remembered for her initiative in the introduction of the mediation and arbitration, a solution for dispute resolution.
These are mechanisms intended to reduce case backlog, cheaper and faster means of amicable resolution of disputes, thereby ensuring justice.
She was also a brand behind the dispensation of the famous case of the rebel MPs that had been expelled by the NRM ruling party, which they subscribed to, and also other constitutional reforms.
Justice Amoko established herself as a notable authority in election petitions. Her judgments, for instance, have since laid a very strong foundation for electoral jurisprudence in this country.
But what do other members of Parliament say about the fallen justice?
Subsequently enabled this very Parliament, when government foresaw a defeat and came up with a motion to amend the Constitution to include expulsion as a ground for ceasing to be a member of Parliament, and all members of Parliament said to hell with this kind of motion.
Justice Stella Amoko was still serving as the judge in the Supreme Court before she succumbed to cancer at Nakasero Hospital, where she had been admitted. Born in 1954, Justice Amoko died at the age of 69 after having served in the Supreme Court from June 2013 to June 2023. She had also served in other positions, including the High Court, where she served for 13 years from 1997 to 2010, worked in the Attorney General's chambers as a state attorney. Other positions she served include the East African Court of Justice, where she served between 2006 to 2008, Deputy Principal Judge of the First Instance Division in 2008, among others. According to the Judiciary Program, Justice Amoko will be laid to rest on Friday this week in Adjumani District. Susan Naung and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
Jerry con! Jerry con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa! Best movies I teach you. When I go to the musicali, because of the cover that is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry car.
Okakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for Ugandan businesses. Between 2017 and 2022, 40% of the 3,800 procurements worth $4.4 billion were awarded to 460 Ugandan companies. This includes 41 community-based companies that have been awarded contracts worth $2.3 million. In order to be contracted to supply goods and services for oil activities in Uganda, entities must register on the National Suppliers Database. Over 2,300 entities are registered on the National Suppliers Database. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
Primex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial star 185 star 7 star 6 hash to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Attention coffee farmers, traders and processors. Uganda Coffee Development Authority has important advice for a successful harvest season. Pick only red farm cherries to achieve good weight and high quality coffee. For natural processing, dry coffee on tarpaulin, concrete or clothing to avoid mold growth. Avoid heaping coffee on the floor. Store coffee in jute bags and in ventilated rooms on wooden pallets. For more information on good harvest practices, visit your nearest extension worker or Uganda Coffee Development Authority offices.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. The Executive Director, Uganda Healthcare Federation, Grace Chiwanuka, has emphasized the importance of managing and preventing infections in healthcare facilities, especially in light of recent outbreaks and potential for future flare-ups. Chiwanuka made the remarks at a private health convention in Kampala focusing on infection prevention controls.
The Executive Director of the Uganda Healthcare Federation, Grace Chiwanuka, stressed the significance of infection prevention and management in healthcare facilities at a private health convention in Kampala.
That's what we've done as Uganda Healthcare Federation, with support from USAID Health System Strengthening Activity, is that we developed a digital platform that allows facilities to report directly into DHIS2. We developed it in partnership with the Ministry of Health. We're trying to get support to cascade it to more facilities across the country. The Ministry of Health is very excited and has recognized that system. So we hope that over the next 6 to 12 months, we'll get more and more facilities to use this system because it takes their data right from facility right into the system, which helps manage costs. Then we don't have to worry about printing registers and photocopying those forms.
Chiwanuka highlighted the importance of proper infection control measures to prevent healthcare providers from getting infected and the affordability of infection prevention management in primary facilities, particularly private ones.
So as a federation, what we've been doing is having online virtual platforms every month that we invite everyone to log into. We showcase what is happening in health. We give them the latest information. We often have people from KCCA or the district health office or the Ministry of Health to say what is changing in the health sector so that they have access to that information.
She emphasized the need to protect healthcare workers and called for increased private sector engagement in addressing the challenges faced by urban centers and smaller facilities in infection prevention.
I think it's a call to action for all of us, especially us as the Federation, to make sure that we engage the chairpersons of those working groups, that we make sure that they nominate someone to represent the private sector to actively participate, to make sure that whatever they discuss, because they discuss policy, they discuss national interventions, that all of these have a private sector component and that they are able to cascade what is discussed into the private sector.
The Commissioner at the Ministry of Health acknowledged the limited representation of the private sector in the national database and emphasized the importance of their involvement in technical working groups.
In Uganda, about 50% of the healthcare services
is provided by private health providers. Actually, in Kampala, it is even about 90% of the healthcare services is provided by private health providers.
The Uganda Healthcare Federation partnered with the Ministry of Health to develop a digital platform for direct reporting from healthcare facilities, aiming to improve reporting rates, reduce manual process costs, and enhance disease surveillance capabilities. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Health has finalized plans to have regional air ambulances to ease transportation of critically ill or injured patients in situations where ground transportation would result in unacceptable delays. This has been disclosed by the Commissioner Emergency Medical Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. John Baptiste Nambohe.
Well, thank you very much.
Uganda is appreciating to invest in emergency medical services because it has a huge contribution in improving patient survival by reducing unnecessary deaths. The Ministry of Health has plans to have regional air ambulances to help in quick transportation of critically ill or injured patients in situations where ground transport would result in unacceptable delays. The Commissioner of Emergency Medical Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. John Baptiste Nambohe, disclosed this at the launch of the Association of Ambulance Professionals Uganda Training Center.
So we have made a plan that there will be 5 sites for aeromedical services, and this will be helicopter ambulances. One will be in the Albertine region where there is oil. Because of those activities, there will be accidents of necessity and we need to evacuate people to the nearest center quickly. Then we shall have in Central region, we shall have in the West, we shall have in the North and in the East.
The Association of Ambulance Professionals Uganda, Tom Chove, says the center has started the training of trainers to build the country's capacity in emergency medical services.
This is to empower all the pre-hospital providers, all pre-hospital emergency care providers in improving the skills in providing the care required for our communities. These would now go into the different communities where they come from to cascade this training to the rest of the people, all the rest of the professionals we have in the country. Why we came up with this training center is because we identified a need for professionalizing the pre-hospital environment.
The trainers demonstrated how a medical facility should prepare for an emergency case after notification.
Equipment is ready.
Door opens, paramedics jump in, take the stretcher, and go into the emergency department. Hi, my name is Sebastian.
Hi, I'm the team leader. My name is Duncan.
Hi, Duncan. So this is
can you just give me 5 seconds to check on my patient?
Of course.
Hi. Hello. Is he breathing?
She's breathing.
She's breathing. Very good. Are there any...
The Commissioner of Emergency Medical Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. John Baptiste Nambohe, points out that government will procure more ambulances to increase on the number.
Procuring another about 6 Type C ambulances, and we are procuring about 90 Type B ambulances just to reduce the gap, because the country requires 460.
Whether separate or part of a hospital, an emergency medical service should be able to provide acute care to patients with serious illnesses or injuries. Adiana Kote, UBC.
And a team of medical professionals under their umbrella, the Joint Medical Professionals, has petitioned the Speaker of Parliament in regards to the plight of medical interns in the country. Led by Dr. Ekwaro Buku, a renowned physician and researcher, the doctors want Parliament to fast-track efforts by the executive to deploy and pay the allowances of the medical interns. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has asked government to fulfill its commitment towards the cause, but also asked the medical interns to consider becoming entrepreneurs and boost private sector.
The Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, in his budget speech for financial year 2023-2024, stressed that 22.6 billion had been secured to cater for outstanding areas for medical interns.
Government in the next few weeks resolves the plight of the medical interns and doctors designated as senior house officers in view of their important role in supporting the health care system.
But this has not put a stop at the demand for more support.
The incoming interns are actually the ones that have just finished medical school right now. Right now we have a figure of about 4,000 medical interns. These guys who have been waiting for 1 year, and then the guys who have just finished.
That is where we have an option of a 3% that government can spend. Even if it is not on the 3%, we can seek for a supplementary to have the incoming paid.
A group codenamed Joint Medical Professionals, led by Dr. Ikwaro Obuku, the former president of Uganda Medical Association, petitioned the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, in quest for further support, especially the 1,900 medical interns who have spent a year without being deployed.
And we cannot keep being at home, but everyone asks you for how long are you going to be here so that we can employ you in the other things you can do. Personally, I'm very good at ICT, but everywhere I go to seek employment, they ask me how long are you going to be here, and I don't have an answer. So that is the confusion that is among the interns. We don't know how long we are going to be at home waiting for the processes to end.
Speaker Anita Among arrested the fears of the doctors, saying that Parliament will ensure that the interns are supported at all times. Speaker Anita also asked the doctors to become job creators in order to boost the private sector.
The people we expect to riot on the street are those ones who don't have papers and whatever. But how do you have professionals demonstrating on the road? We have a country. We must make sure these people practice, because even if we don't have enough jobs, so long as somebody has gone through the internship, you can start your own business. We encourage you to go into private sector. So the issue that you're talking about is our priority as Parliament of Uganda.
In May 2023, the Minister of State for Higher Education, John Chrysostom Muyingo, told MPs that a 9-member committee was working on a clear policy to regulate the admissions, internship and licensing of the doctors.
So that's what I'm saying. We have a chairperson of health that I am going to give to coordinate between health and Parliament.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
And the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has extended medical equipment to Naguru, China-Uganda Friendship Hospital. Some of the equipment donated include, among others, wheelchairs, ward screens and medicine trolleys. Hani Malinga, the Acting Director of Petroleum at the Ministry of Energy, who was representing the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, says the relief aid is also aimed at celebrating the value and virtue of public service to the community.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has donated the medical equipment to China-Uganda Friendship Hospital Naguru. Some of the items donated include wheelchairs, ward screens, medicine trolleys, and mama kits. The Acting Director, Petroleum, Ani Malinga, who was representing Irene Batebe, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, explained that the extension of the equipment to the hospital is part of commemorating the African Public Service Day, which is celebrated every 23rd of June each year.
I think this is as we have said, it is a wake-up call. Let us all do the same. We have seen institutions like the UPDF, in most cases, when they are going to celebrate their days, they do this kind of work. So I think it should be something which should emulate as public servants, that we should also do something which touches us in the community.
Cyril Rose, who represented the director, China-Uganda Hospital, applauded the ministry and sensitized the public, especially expectant mothers, to always go for antenatal checkups.
We are really appreciative to them, and we also request other team other ministry, if they could do the same to give back to the community. They have brought, and our mothers were given straight away the mama kit. They were very happy because it is the first time they're receiving mama kit direct from the donors. We say thank you, and we encourage others. And this one also, we encourage also mothers to come and deliver from the hospital to attend antenatal, because mothers are remaining in the community, they are getting complications, they come in the hospital very late when they already develop complications. Some end up losing their life, but if they have come early, their community will help them.
The ministry also participated in general cleaning of the hospital. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Now in business news, in a bid to empower micro, small and medium enterprises, the crucial information regarding the upcoming fiscal year's budget priorities, the Private Sector Foundation Uganda has taken the lead through various engagement initiatives at different levels. PSFU aims to equip SMEs with the knowledge they need to align their businesses with the national agenda.
Speaking at the private sector post-budget dialogue, Issa Sechito, the spokesperson for the Kampala City Traders Association, Kasita, and PSFU's board chairperson, Policy Committee, revealed a significant development for businesses struggling due to the pandemic.
As a result of COVID and other challenges, many businesses faced issues with payment of taxes at principal level, and by so failing, they attracted penalties, fines, and interest. I thank the government of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, that the government has accepted to waive these.
The government has agreed to waive interest and penalties on tax areas owed to the Uganda Revenue Authority till December 2023.
We have been writing request letters to the Commissioner General, to the Minister of Finance, and finally to the President. So the issue was not trivial, the issue was very pertinent, because despite that people have failed to pay even principal taxes that they are being demanded in different formats, then the taxes attract interest, fines and penalties.
This relief measure will provide the much-needed financial respite to enterprises affected by the unprecedented challenges brought about by the pandemic. During the meeting, PSFU also discussed budget allocations earmarked for the private sector and proposed recommendations to the government. Some of the key priorities highlighted included the establishment of a labor supply and demand database to address unemployment challenges, a proposal to reduce electricity tariffs for industries, and a call for Uganda Airlines to prioritize cargo operations.
Regarding regional integration, we propose to ratify the trade agreement to actualize the existing opportunities. We propose to develop the private sector strategy for implementation of the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. We also proposed to engage the East African Secretariat to activate the East African Dispute Settlement Mechanism and address the non-tariff barriers that are hurting our business community across the Kenyan border, Southern Sudan, and DRC and Rwanda.
PSFU's efforts in facilitating a deeper understanding of the national budget priorities among MSMEs are expected to foster an environment conducive to sustainable business growth and development. By advocating for the interests of the private sector and promoting initiatives that address the needs of the businesses.
Our only encouragement to the business people is now to them getting prepared, because it has an expiry period. And because it is on a pro rata approach kind of incentive, if you reach the deadline of 30th December, midway the financial year, before you have covered the principal, then it will not apply on you.
PSFU aims to bolster Uganda's private sector growth while creating a favorable business climate for all. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News, in Kampala.
Yokato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#, select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
And in sports, no room for hooliganism as the 2023 Masaza Uganda football tournament was launched at the Bulange in Mengo. Reigning champions Busiro FC confirmed readiness to retain the trophy.
It has been confirmed that the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, will officially flag off the Masaza Uganda football tournament this Saturday at Wankuluku Stadium. Busu Tasoit out against Maokota in the opener, 12 counties competing. At the grand launch of the games in Bulange, the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, expressed readiness to host the best games ever.
We want those managing the sport to plan, to self-evaluate, and to be focused, because that's what you do when you're running an industry. As we may be aware, the Kingdom of Uganda is the most recognizable brand within East and Central Africa. I think so.
Now, given the magnitude and big turn-up of fans for the games, Plascon Paints is sponsoring the games to a tune of 300 million shillings for 3 years. This is accompanied with a 50 million shillings kitty to Budu FC, the finalists of last year's edition.
Fenga Plascon tweyamye era tukkiriza nti ebyemizannyo biyamba nnyo okulaakulanya eggwanga lyaffe. Liwa bannayuganda emirimu, litukuŋŋaanya awatali njawukana oba nti ndi wa ddiini oba ndi wa kika kino.
Priority for the 2023 season has been given to the funds and the level of officiation to meet the desired standards.
Organizing a tournament like Masaza Cup requires a lot of financial and technical support. As Airtel Uganda, it's always an honor to contribute towards this noble cause that not only offers social entertainment but also a platform that nurtures the country's footballing talent.
The Masaza Uganda football tournament has grown to strength, attracting the largest number of followers and influence among Kabaka's subjects. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBC TV.
And Larry Fenny has won 2 gold medals for Uganda at the 2023 Special Olympics Games in Berlin, Germany. The Ugandan swimmer claimed both golds in the 50-meter breaststroke and 25-meter freestyle, respectively.
swimmer Larry Finn has won 2 gold medals for Uganda at the 2023 Special Olympic Games in Berlin, Germany. The 17-year-old swimmer claimed both victories in the 50-meter breaststroke in 31 seconds before winning the 25-meter freestyle. This was the second time Larry represented the country at such an event, having been recognized by the Uganda Special Olympics team for his profound talent. Locally, Finney swims for Silverfin Academy and competes at numerous local and international competitions. Coach Ezra Khalili, who has been with him for some time, missed out on the trip but was ecstatic on his victory. The Special Olympics is a global organization that changes lives by promoting, understanding and accepting an inclusion among people with and without intellectual disabilities. Uganda took a total of 22 athletes from 4 disciplines including athletics, swimming, table tennis and football. For Sports News, I'm Marsha Miro, UBC TV.
Well, and that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Elizabeth Nakakuni on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
So when you pay your taxes, you are investing in the future of Uganda.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda.
Chebagalo gamba nti sente yura eze tukunganyamu zezimala okukola ebintu bino byonna enguudo amasomero ebye n'ebintu ebirala.
Mzee, aba basajja basoza sente nyingi nnyo olaba boda boda banza ke miliyoni aga
miliyoni ana
zo wa boda
oza tundu okutunza emmere wa restaurant
nyabo siko wa restaurant muchere nyama bisi ngolwa miliyoni nkaga
echi ngari katataniza alina kawushi ibeni nakabala
mzee kaza yake gofude bufi
chichi
lekanawo lekera okulimba URA era omusolo gwe bayita presumptive tax oba guyita omusolo ogwafa oba business obutono obuyingiza okuva ku miliyoni 10 paka ku 15 obutasukkawo omwaka
kakati olonze banategera bati nyingiza yange
ate oba olina okukuuma ebitabo byonna byonna ebikwata ku bizinensi yo ate ekyangu kwe kugenda gwe kennyini n'obeesooka n'obatwalira ebitabo bino ku ofiisi yaabwe eza URA ezikuli okumpi awo ne babeera nga bagerekera omusolo omutuufu
ekitegeeza bali olina kwetega beetege
kyekyo bwe beetege bweteze osirike era bwe ate baakulimba nnyo kubanga ate mu ababoda mwena sasula emitwalo ejja omwaka
ale kulira gwesebu obadde oyogera ebigambo nga babikunyumiza bunyumiza n'otulimba abantu abakulu wamata kutunyonnyole
URA ekujjukiza okusasula omusolo gwo ogwa presumptive tax guno gwe musolo ogusasulwa abo abaddukanya bizinesi entono era gusinziira ku nnyingiza ya bizinesi yo nga gusasulwa omulundi gumu buli mwaka gw'ebyensimbi. Genda mu ssimu yo onyige kamunyenye 285 kadaala oba sasula ng'okozesa mobile money oba mu bank oba kozesa ba mobile agents. Uganda Revenue Authority, tukulaakulanyize wamu Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president. She is the hope of our community. And as a community leader, I will talk to others about how we must protect her against child marriage and teenage pregnancy because it affects us all. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
The drilling of development and production wells for the Kingfisher project in Kikube district started in January 2023, while the delivery and assembly of the 3 drilling rigs for the Tilenga project is ongoing. Enabling infrastructure works for the other required facilities, including the central processing facilities, well pads, flow lines and camps, remain on course. The produced resources will be commercialized via the East Africa crude oil pipeline, which will run from Uganda to Tanzania, and the 60,000 barrels of oil per day Uganda refinery project, which will be constructed in Hoima. These projects are bringing investment of $15 billion into the country. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Junko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.